Hey everybody, it is Monster Maverick, and I'm Neil. Last show you just heard, that was Aggro, one of our illustrious founders. However, his show was Meme the News or Random Random Ass Radio or whatever it's being called now. It was 2 hours of weird stuff. And Ag has a great title as being the worst DJ ever, but he really proved it tonight. That he's playing video games over songs and not muting his own microphone or his own feed. It was entertaining stuff. So yeah, that was Ag. But this is Monster Maverick. We talk Splinterlands and all things related. And there's more and more being related now. So that's getting kind of interesting. I actually realized during the last hour or so. So much shade. Hey, the truth is the truth. Anyway, I realized in the last hour that North Korean politics might actually affect Splinterlands. Oh, I'm cutting in and out. Uh-oh. When hive monsters. I'm betting soon, Clay. That's part of it. Ah, crap. Everybody says I'm cutting out. Dropped frames 2.3%. Oh, that's not good. Let's see. Microphone cord stopped moving. Everything looks okay on my end. And can you hear me now? Is everything back to normal? I've stopped moving. Oh, video bitrate. I thought I did this. Settings. Output. Bitrate. Yeah, bitrate's 500. That's what it is. Don't move. I can't not move. I'm one of those people, I have to move a lot when I'm talking on the phone or whatever. But the show's powerful. It is. So yeah, I put on 200. Okay, I'll try 200. See if that works. Nobody's watching the stream anyway. Let's see. 400, 300, 200. All right. Hey, it's better than the random video games and nobody knows what's going on. So anyway, I had this thought that 4.1%. What is going on? Oh no. All right. Well, I'm just gonna keep talking, and we'll see what happens. Basically, so no Oregon Trail. So I had this thought. I realized the whole thing with Kim Jong Un, where maybe he's dead, maybe he's just in a coma, maybe he's at the beach. I saw a story about that. That could actually affect Splinterlands. The reason being that if there is a war for succession in North Korea, that could actually destabilize the Korean Peninsula, potentially. Depending on how it goes. So obviously, there's a large Korean population involved in Splinterlands and in crypto in general, and that could have an impact. So just it's I think it's a pretty low probability event, but just saying it's there. Yeah. So I mean, So yes, North Korea leader impacts Splinterlands. That is what I'm saying. That is a possibility, and I think this could be. You can make some PR out of it. And all that kind of stuff. And so, like I said, nobody's watching the stream because nobody does. But if you do, in the future, I got this. This is a green screen. The stand is being shipped separately. The stand was delayed on shipping, so at some point that'll be fun. Let's see. Matt Clark says Rona-based sex bot delays will cause Korean War and destabilize the game. The rusty Android will have to dust it off and put it to work. That's right. I was telling Matt yesterday, I think it was, about my sex bot can solve war and create world peace. Yeah. So all kinds of interesting stuff. But just for the moment, I want to point out that Izaria has new music, coming out from for the game and just publishing them one by one. So we're going to do a quick listen. And, well, it's 5 minutes, so we're going to listen to a part of it. How about that? And here we go. Okay, so that is just the first little snippet, first minute 20 of of that song, and I don't know where that's gonna go in the game, but it's gonna go somewhere, or remixed and then whatever. But it's fun. Check it out. Go to the post, upvote, do all that kind of stuff. Um, just quiet the song. Talk about spreadsheets. I don't listen to you. Anyway, in other news, if the Forgotten Labyrinth, yes, if you guys like a more economic investing type talk that's not really Splinterlands related, Steam Leo Finance has been doing our roundtables for the last few weeks, and it's going to be tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern. Don't take advice from the worst DJ ever. That is true. Uh, And yeah, so we're having a roundtable tomorrow, and we're going to be live streaming on ThreeSpeak, which is news to me. I just found out a couple hours ago about that. So if you guys like that kind of stuff, be sure to come on. It's a good time. It's usually like an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours. I mean, we talk a lot, and Roland does his chart magic and all that kind of stuff. So for those who like the spreadsheets basically, and like the pretty lines. Uh, and Clay is talking about moving over to Hive. So, hey, it's all connected, man. Kim Jong-un could lead to a change in price in Splinterlands cards. I'm just saying. I'm not saying it will. I'm not saying that that's guaranteed. Like I said, it's a low probability event. But, if the whole Korean Peninsula goes, into some kind of conflict, then things could happen. So the Koreans are a pretty sizable force in the crypto world, and we're seeing that now with Hobie opening up and doing their promotion for Hive. So Hobie, I mean, there's a lot of Chinese on there, there's Koreans on there, and they are doing a 20% promotion, which is where I think all of this spikiness that we've been seeing over the last little while is coming from. So let me transition my screen here so anybody who's following along can actually see. So this is the Hive chart. We have the initial dump, and then rattling around, little mini dumps, little mini surges, and then in the past 3 days, we've had a nice pump, and that coincides exactly with Hobie going open, and I don't care if you see my buys or sells. If the Koreans and the Chinese are putting money into Hive, and why does that matter for Splinterlands? Well, it's looking more and more like we're moving. The whole game is going to be moving to Hive. And so we had the integration with Hive. That's just for you, Ron. I actually looked at turning the sound off, but I was like, no, I'll leave it. So now you can move your dark energy crystals over to Hive. You can, I think, orbs and alpha and all the rest of the game tokens were moved over. No thanks, Agrod. Again, you don't take DJ advice from the worst DJ ever. That's just basic math. So so Hive Engine is now integrated, basically. So just one more step along the way of migration, and I think if and when that happens, I mean, so I've been saying this for a while. I understand that Steam is getting more and more unusable, and that does not seem to be going away. So I understand. So Splinterlands is going to have to move somewhere, and the easiest place obviously is Hive. What I would like to see would be a meta chain solution, and I've talked about that in the past, and I've talked about to Yeba about developing a gaming specific blockchain, and he's had similar thoughts. He said, but again, it's a matter of resources and time and all that kind of stuff. So, but hey, if Hive goes to $10, then you have the resources, you can do it. So I'm just putting that out there, in case anybody in the room is listening. My face is a meta chain solution. That's right, it is. I'm so meta. Anyway, Dark Energy Crystal is now trading on Hive Engine, as are Orbs and Untamed and what have you. So I I managed to screw up an arbitrage a little while ago, and because you have deck trading on Hive Engine, you have deck trading on Steam Engine. Steam Engine trades in Steam P. On Hive Engine, it trades in Swap Point Hive. And all of those are correlated to Steam and to Hive. So, now you have two different markets that are priced in two different currencies, moving at two different rates. And so it's hard to keep those in track, especially without, a massive amount of liquidity. So arbitrage opportunities happen. And I ended up screwing up because the feed from Hive Engine was wrong as far as the dollar value. So I ended up making a calculator. And here's my first spreadsheet of the night, just to please Agrod here. Boom. Spreadsheet. So that was a snapshot earlier where, I looked at the price of Steam in Satoshis. It's actually in BTC, it's not in Satoshis. Price of Hive. And I looked at the bid and ask on Steam Engine, I looked at the bid and ask on Hive Engine, and I calculated the spreads in, this is in Satoshis. I calculated the spreads on the different exchanges. And at that particular moment, the Steam Engine spread was 8.4 Satoshis by 8.55. And the Hive Engine spread was 8.82 by 9.0. And then, so what you could do would be, you could buy deck on Steam Engine and sell it, at the ask, and buy and sell deck on Hive Engine at the bid, and you'd make a profit. The problem is that there's not enough liquidity, not enough market depth on Hive Engine to make that actually work in any kind of appreciable volume. So that bid on Hive Engine was actually, I think it was 10 deck. So you're not going to get very far doing that kind of arbitrage. But as users migrate over to Hive Engine and as people start using it more, then we will start to see more depth to the market. And while there's a double-edged sword there, the more users there are, the more liquidity, which is good because you can sell and buy into the markets. But also, arbitrage opportunities will reduce. So there is that. But currently, there are potential wins to be had there. I did an ARB trade 2 days ago or 3 days ago, and the ARB was good, but but after going through all the steps of the conversions and the fees and paying the spreads, I ended up losing like 1,000 deck on 43,000. So that also did not work out. But then there's of course there's ways around that. B swap, which is Gerber's gateway, has lower fees, but then not as much volume capability. I'd have been more just playing a match. You're absolutely right. And yeah, so I mean, these are all things that are kind of in the works, but it comes down to the same thing. You need volume, you need users. So it's the same story that Splinterlands has had for ever, because we've pretty much saturated the Steam ecosystem as far as those that are going to be playing, and now that it looks like there's going to be migration to Hive, we're going to lose a chunk of those players in protest. At least some of the big ones we know have stated publicly that they are going to be selling if and when that happens, which again is looking more and more likely. What so you need moolah? I don't understand the question. Pretty nice video. Everybody needs moolah, but if and when that happens, our user base will be cut by some percentage, and how much, how many of those people will follow through, how many does that make up of the overall ecosystem currently, remains to be seen. But I think we're going to lose at least some, and and Clay was talking about when the move happens, he's going to pick up BJI's collection for cheap, and that might happen. If they just dump on the market rather than trying to, get the best price. So we'll see. Overall, last 24 hours, 9,621 sales, $3,400, which is pretty decent. Let's take a look at Steam Web. Money, please. Money's always good. So battles, I'll go ahead and paste these with the sound for Ron. Holding fairly steady there on battles. Active users, pretty steady. Also, Splinterlands has player? Where? I'm a player. I'm just kind of sucking on my quest right now, but other than that, I do not, definitely my worst splinter is life in my quests, and my second worst is Earth, and that's what I'm in now. I won 2 in a row, and then lost one, and won one, and then I lost a whole bunch in a row. So, let's see, what else we got? Packs. Let's look at booster packs, see what we've got here. So we've had a little bit of a hubbub about the packs, because we have the second Untamed Legendary Summoner revealed, which is Yodin Zaku, which is from Zaku, obviously, of Monster. Was it Monster Market? I can never remember his site. I really should, because it's actually pretty useful. But yeah, so we got the new summoner announced, and we are at what? We have 86,866 of the 100,000. So we have got about 13,000 packs left to sell before Yodin Zaku is airdropped. And obviously, if you want to get in on the airdrop, to a qualifying pack, you have to purchase before that 100,000 milestone is reached. But it looks like, this guy's going to be a doozy. Okay, so lore, blah, blah, blah. Where'd it go? I know there was a picture here. Oh, the picture's broken. Super. Okay. Why aggroed why? Why your pictures are all broken? Anyway, so it has +1 arranged, and it has all friendly monsters get blast, and I think the other thing was +1 health. I might be wrong about that third one, but the +1 range and the +1 and the blast for all friendly monsters is for sure. I forget, but there is a third thing in with the summoner. So I got to thinking a little bit about let's see, let me just read this. Big boost for range, for high mana cap. Yeah, it's gonna be 7 mana, just like the just like the Death Summoner. Um, Ranged Health and Blast. Oh, I was right. Okay. So, Blast is a phenomenal ability. So, when you hit the midline, then, it goes to both sides. And as far as I know, Blast is not dodgeable. At least I don't remember ever seeing it being dodged. And so, the guys that are going to benefit from Blast beyond just, the frontline attack is going to be your snipes and your opportunities. So I took a quick look at the at Peak Monsters, and I was looking for fire and neutral and see who we have available for snipe. So these are your guys. So we've got the Fire Beetle, which is the only snipe that. Sorry, Fire Beetle and Phyrexia, whatever general. Those are your snipes on the fire team, and then we've got the neutrals. So, Fire Beetle is going to be seeing a lot more play. When Yodin Zaku drops, because that's going to be fantastic. And then if we've got opportunity, we've got Serpentine Spy and Parasitic Growth. Yes, Foggy Bottom, I agree. Going to go work well with opportunity. So those are going to be your go-to guys when you're using the Zaku Summoner. So look out for those. And if you're on the defense side, you got to be aware of that. You got to have your blast defense. It's harder with ranged. Because not that many monsters have return fire. We got a lot more. We've got a lot more magic reflect than we do return fire. So even if I open this up to all, these are all the monsters that have return fire. I'll post that here in chat. I'm thinking that when I post my show notes, I should actually include all these images, but I never have. Retaliate, Super Sneak, Melee Mayhem. Yeah, those are all good. But those are so the Super Sneak and the Melee Mayhem. That's a little bit I don't know what the numbers are as far as like number of matches that have that, but it's not that many. So those would be good. So Retaliate's interesting. Against the opportunity, yes, that will be useful. But Retaliate does not trigger on a ranged attack. So let's put Pits and Milk instead. I'll do that on the Steam post. Gotta do my milking. My milking post. I haven't done a milk post in a little while. So the really interesting thing about the Untamed Legendary Summoners is that so far 2 for 2 they've been really, really good. They're high cost. They're 7 mana, but we're seeing lots of high mana matches, so that's not that big a deal. And we have let's see what the current one is doing as far as legendary. Change that to summoners and untamed only. Oh, where'd she go? Oh, I gotta take off return fire. That's why. Where is she? I want untamed only. There we go. So Mimosa is trading at 650. So that someone must have sold one at a bid because it was up at the ask at 950 just a little while ago. So Mimosa is awesome. I've had 2 death quests since I got Mimosa, and it's just fantastic. The Void and the Void and the Affliction are just a killer combination. And with Death having a relatively low health level, having that Void on all monsters is just fantastic. Especially with like I'm totally blanking on the name, but that 1 mana the 1 mana monster that has all the debuffs. I don't know why I am blanking. Let's see. It is Fallen Spectre. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. And what is this picture that Quantum Nachos? It's an octopus milking a cow in the Muppets. That does not seem very Muppet friendly. I don't know. Yeah, so Fallen Spectre, it's got the blind, it's got the headwinds, it's got the demoralize, and but on one magic reflect, typically it's dead. So and there's lots of stuff with magic reflect, but with the void, it shoots out the one, but it takes back zero, and so it just sits there and continues to debuff your opponent. So like I said, Mimosa's awesome. It's looking like Yodin Zaku's going to be awesome, and you know, and if that's any indication, we'll see that the rest of the legendary summoners are equally awesome as well. The points attribute and mana cost calculations that the Splinter team has been using, I think has probably been their best development, really, because it's been very, very few balancing changes after things have actually been released. Prince Renan got nerfed a little bit, PJ got nerfed a little bit, but totally reasonable, I think. And when for you OGs out there like Matt Clark, when we were testing the original play, like the life team with the Angel and the Divine Healer was just almost unbeatable. So so I'm glad that the development of new cards has been maintaining that balanced strength. So that's all been good. I have never heard of an R18 Muppet movie. So, I don't know. I guess I'm out of the loop on that one. Yeah, double heal. It wasn't just tank heal. It was heal all friendly monsters, and it was just I could beat it every 1 out of 15 times, but yeah, triage. Triage is very useful, but at least it's only a single monster. It's not everybody, and then it takes up the slots, because there's only seven slots for a battle. So yeah, you can do a very strong healing team, but it's not unbeatable like it was. Team America World Police has an incredible puppet scene. That it does. But that is not the Muppets, that's for sure. So let's see. What else we got for Yodin Zaku? Anything interesting? Happy Time Murders. That is weird. Okay. Hadn't heard about that at all. Right. And yeah, there's the lore in the post if you really want to read it. It's really long, actually. I have not received my book yet, so I know some of them are shipping. Some of the physical swag from the Kickstarter has started shipping, but I have not gotten mine. So I don't know if this is typical, but this is a lot longer than I typically see. Yeah, so I also, there's the post on integrating the Hive engine. I don't know if I actually posted that there in the chat. But yeah, you can move dark energy crystals to and from. You can do it between Steam Engine, Hive Engine, Tron, and Ethereum. I actually didn't know you could put deck on Ethereum. I thought it was just NFTs. So that's actually new to me. But it all depends on where the liquidity is, right? And that, of course, goes back to need more players. Same old story. And we were talking about this in I think it was the Maverick's room the other day about what is the push to get new players? And obviously the whole thing with the Hive forking and everything, and has pushed development back. And, okay, understandable, but none of that actually solves the problem of attracting new players into the game. And So last I saw Agro actually post anything about it. He said that he had like 50 or so applicants to the ambassador program. So if you've never heard of it before, the Pareto principle is your 80-20 rule. That was, Vilfredo Pareto. He was an Italian economist, mathematician. He came up with that distribution showing that basically 20% of the population of almost anything does 80% of the result. So, 20% of the stars in the universe have 80% of the mass that we can see, at least. 20% of the people in a company will produce 80% of the work, whatever that might be. So, I mean, it applies like all across the board. And so, applying that to the ambassador program, if we've got 50 people out there trying to get people into, trying to get people to, sign up for the game and start playing, and sign up, comic shops and game shops and that kind of stuff. 20% of 50 is 10, right? And so 10 will produce like something, but it's like a fractal pattern though. So it's like 20% of the 10 will produce 80% of the 80%. So basically you get 4% of the total producing 64% of the 40% of the population will produce 60%, 64% of the total results. And so what that means is that a couple people, guys like Matt Clark, who have really done great work in getting the game out there, will be the ones who successfully sign up significant numbers of people. And we don't need like 10 people. We don't need 100 people. We need like thousands of people to really make this a mainstream success. So I'm skeptical that the ambassador program is going to get there just because of the numbers involved. So, we need something else. Now, which assumptions did I make on Cope? Yes, Matt Clark has done an amazing job, and he's hosting meetups and stuff. Now, of course, the whole world is shut down, so that puts a damper in things, right? I mean, people aren't going to gaming shops. And although GameStop's been crazy, they refused to shut down, and then they finally caved, and now they're opening back up. And the master program gives the exact same rewards, but it's a matter of scale. So if you sign up 100 people, and you get 5%, then okay, great. I don't know if 5% is enough to be interesting. I think that we'll have to see how that goes. And obviously, I'm not in charge of anything, so I don't know. But my point is, even in the best case scenario, the ambassador program isn't going to produce thousands of new players. It might produce hundreds. That'd be good, and we'll take hundreds. But it's not going to be getting us from whatever we have now up to 20,000 users. So we do need something else. I don't know what that something else is, and I know that it's. I know that the team has said that they're thinking about other things, and they have things in the works and all that kind of stuff, but I haven't heard any development on that. So hopefully something is coming down the pike that will get us to that 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 level. I mean, can you imagine 50,000 players? What that would do to Dark Energy Crystal prices, But I was talking to Gerber the other day about D City, and if you don't play D City, you should. It's fun. Let's go ahead and drop a link. It's like it's sort of like a NFT version of SimCity. You collect stuff, different types of buildings, and you get workers and immigrants come in and they can rob your places. So, it's fun. But I was talking to him about the other day, and I made the point that if the point of the game is money, then it's not gonna work. The point of the game has to be fun. It has to be entertainment. And then if money is worked into that, then great. And a lot of people have been complaining recently. I don't know if it's just what I've been seeing in Discord, uh, and or if it's a more recent phenomenon. But people are saying more and more that the game isn't fun, and I've always had fun playing Splinterlands. So I mean, it's quick, it's it's strategic. The bot thing is a whole thing. They're working on the leagues, so I think it's fine. And with the expansions that are coming out, with the land and the items and spells and all that kind of stuff, adding a second layer, I think the strategic factor will increase, and that should be satisfying, I guess, to the people arguing about the bots. I don't know. we'll see, but that's my theory. Yeah. D City cross platform weekly rewards is a worthy incentive. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So if you buy cards in D City, which are NFTs running on, they just transferred over to Hive Engine. I think it was yesterday. Then you do get a share of the rewards pool that is managed by Gerber and all that kind of stuff. So you do get, I mean, you get paid. It's fun. You get the in-game currency, and then you can buy more cards and all that stuff. But it's never gonna take off as long as the point is the money. It has to be fun, and that fun is what attracts people. People played Flappy Bird for nothing. And it was just that dopamine hit of missing the little pipe things. So that fun first, and that's why Ag was talking about Oregon Trail. I was like, that's not gonna be fun. If it's just about the money, then you're just talking about rearranging the currency within the ecosystem that already exists, and that is boring. So you might get more of Hive or Steam or whatever from somebody else that already has Hive or Steam, but you're not bringing new people into the system, and that's really what we need to be doing. So, with that said, and hopefully that problem will be. So, after people pulled it from the App Store, people paid hundreds for phones which had it installed. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe nostalgia is in. I don't know. Oregon Trail, I don't think is enough to make that work. Like if you played like Street Fighter on blockchain, then now you're talking. I mean that's a game that's actually fun. But anyway, I digress. I did want to throw up a chart because Quantum Notch just brought up the point about the ambassador program. Part of the commission structure change was that the pack sales in Dark Energy crystals aren't going to count anymore, which honestly I think is okay, because that's sort of just recycling money internally rather than bringing external money. And but just wanted to post the Dark Energy crystal chart priced in USD, because all things at Splinterlands are priced in USD. And we broke out of our little down channel there, which is nice. And now I have to specify that these numbers are from Steam Engine trading and not from any of the other markets, because that's where all the liquidity is still. So, with the price of Steam fluctuating, backing this out, this is as of yesterday, I believe. That's the last number I had a full day for. Let's check that. Yeah, 424. So you can see in the chart there that things have been going down, 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 and then we had a nice little pump here. Now, does that coincide with the Hive pump? I don't know. The Hive pump really started on, it's only been a day and a half, and so the pump in Dark Energy crystals has been a little bit longer than that. So 424. That's right. Yeah, the original 420 was kind of a letdown from what I hear from a lot of people. Personally, I don't partake. Not that interested. So But from what I see online on Reddit and whatnot, uh, people were kind of down in the dumps about 420. And then there was like 422 because that's 422. Yeah, pretty nice video, needs to smoke. Yeah, so yeah, one thing I wanted to mention was the hive pump and how that's going to affect things. So, you know, fundamentally, this is all from the Huobi expansion and listing, right? And they're running a promotion. Like if you deposit 5,000 hive, you get 1,000 free, which is 20%. And so there's a lot of money flowing in. Personally, I do not expect that to last. From what I understand, the promotion is going to end on the 28th, and I think all those people who are buying now are going to turn around and sell once they get their payouts or once they lock in their payouts. So I would not be surprised to see this continue at these levels and maybe pump more. I don't know. It doesn't take a whole lot to pump this market because there's very little liquidity. So once that promotion closes, though, I expect to see a round trip kind of thing. So if it were me, so like I'm taking my hive right now and I'm selling it off piece by piece and converting to Bitcoin. And now for my own portfolio, I've reached I think like 2 Bitcoin now. So I feel good about that. In the future, I'll be one of the top 13 million people in the world, I guess, at least, that hold Bitcoin. And, because there's only going to be 21 million of them. So I guess, no, not 13, it'd be 10.5, right? So yeah, that's cool. And, but if you don't want to trade for Bitcoin, you might want to consider trading in for Splinterlands cards. So back in the old days, before gameplay actually started, TC Polymath and I were trying to create this hashtag, monster baking, where like when coin prices are high, you go into cards, and then when coin prices are low, you go out of cards. So that was the idea, and so I think this is one of those opportunities where if you wanted to lock in some gains, you could buy some good liquidity cards and take some of your hive gains there and buy the cards, and then if and when hive falls, which I think it will do, maybe even if not now, when the Binance opens up in however many weeks, then I think it'll work out. It's not financial advice. I used to be a registered financial advisor, but I'm not anymore, and I'm certainly not your financial advisor. So that's my disclaimer. When do I think it will go down? I think it will go down in about 4 days when the promotion for Huobi closes. First $1, then we see. Hey, I'm all for higher prices because that'll make my exits better. Because man, I have sunk a ton of money into the Steam ecosystem, and it has been destroyed in all forms except for Splinterlands cards. So, do I think it'll get to $1? I have no idea. So I'm looking at Hive and Steam in Satoshi terms. So we're at 74.35. Yeah, no problem, Cope. That's my solid financial advice. Yeah, I mean, Steam used to be $8. Who knows, right? Moving into fiat isn't exiting. No, all my crypto is staying in crypto. Just in what form do I want to save it? I'm certainly not cashing out crypto into fiat. That's just guaranteeing a slow loss. Well, that's true. Unless your investment gains exceed inflation, which hopefully they do. Right now, if you're buying this little pump that we've got in the stock market, I think you're in for a world of hurt. But yeah, it is what it is. But more about that on the Leo Roundtable. That's tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern. Well, it depends on when you entered, Nachos. I mean, my collection value is down as well, but considering how much I put into the thing originally, it's still way up. So let's see, what is my card collection now? Part of the problem with having 170,000 BCX here is that it takes a while to load. So I'm at 66 right now. And honestly, in the beginning I did a bad job of keeping track of my investments into Splitterlands, but I think I've got 25k into this, so still at 66. That's not bad, and making Dark Energy crystals. So that doesn't include the I've got a few million Dark Energy crystals, and yeah, I could buy a cheap house with my card collection, and I might do that someday. You know, in the in the next 12 to 18 months, I expect real estate prices to come down as people who are getting laid off and things realize they can't afford to stay where they are. So maybe I'll trade that for a house someday. Hey, 34k, that's not bad. How much of the 34k is flesh golems though? That's what everyone else will know, because Matt Clark is the flesh golem king. Foreclosure auctions abound. Yep, they will. Everything's in deferment right now, but and again, this is something that we've talked about on Leo Roundtable already, but we will talking about more. Where do we start? How do we get first card? Well, to start, you go to that link. Not that one. Sorry. That link. And you sign up, and you get a what's called the Summoner's Spellbook. That's like the starter kit for the game, and that gives you access to the basics, kind of level 1 cards. They're virtual cards, so you can't buy them or sell them. They're just there for your play. And then to buy and sell cards, if you wanted to, there's lots of places to do it. You can do it on splitterlands.com. You can do it on Monster Market. My personal favorite is Peak Monsters. You go there, and then you can buy and sell in Dark Energy Crystals, in Steam, and in SBD. And what all those things are, it'll take too long to explain in the time we have remaining, but airdrop.shops if you want to go on over to the Splitterlands Discord, which I will post right here, and that will have all the people and all the questions you could possibly want answered over time. It does take a little bit of time for people to respond, but that is the main chat for the game, and but gotta sign up first. So there's that, and that was the link I provided. That is a referral link. I do get 5% on anything, any 5% commission on stuff that is bought, certain things, and so on. Crystal Pacheco, rocket out at $600. That looks good, and invested into. Oh, Ron's just talking shit as usual. And so we've got about 10 minutes left, and next up is going to be Clay and Cope with the Coffee and Philosophy Show. Is that still the name of it? I can never stay awake for the whole thing because this time is killing me. And I'm probably going to be changing the time here next week or so. And apparently today is golf day, April 26th. Yeah. Oh man, that image just make me yawn. Oh, God. It's bad radio, but it is what it is. Anywho, where was I? I totally forget. So D-City we talked about. It's Cope and Philosophy now. Do we think Deck's recovery will continue? I think, is Ag still here? He's probably fake newsing. I think Ag's gonna keep buying, so I think that will continue, and I don't see a whole lot of buying activity. Um, I don't see a whole lot of pack buying activity going on, despite the summoners, which have been great, and so I don't think people are buying Dark Energy crystals to redeem at the par value. So that just leaves who's buying Dark Energy crystals, right? So I've bought a bunch. I've got a couple million, like I said. I think like 2.5 million, something like that. And Ag's buying a bunch because he wants to corner his own game, which is a little bit silly, I think. But yeah, you know, I think that will continue until land expansion comes out. Now, will it go up from here? I don't know. I think it'll maintain at least. So I would say neutral to up in terms of my Dark Energy Crystal prediction. Uh, well, Quantum. I mean, I know like Zaku's buying like 500 a day just by himself, so that's something. But yeah, people are buying. Whatever the case, people are buying. If you really wanted to find out, I mean, you can do some blockchain sleuthing. I don't, you know, care enough to to find out. And so, pretty nice video. Everyone is bored and wanting to play games, home more maybe. So you would think with the global shutdown that activity has increased on Splinterlands, but that has not been the case. So it's been basically flat, which tells me that we've saturated the market for the Steam ecosystem / Hive players, and what we need going forward is new blood, basically, and that goes back to the point I was making about the ambassador program and how great, but it's not sufficient to get to where we need to be, and that is that is something that needs to be fixed. However, for the people who are playing, it's great. We're going to get the league changes here in a little while, and we're going to get we're going to get lands expansion at some point, and there was a third thing that anytime tournaments that should be on the docket soon-ish, I think, because before the Hive thing happened, they were talking like a month. So now probably another month from now before that happens. But that'll level the playing field quite a bit for tournament players. And yes, Steam saturation has been like that for every year. I agree. But it's been especially clear now that everybody's at home and not working. So we can prove it now. That there's no more people on Steam going to be playing Splinterlands than already are. So back in the go-go days of 17 and 18, the people were onboarding or trying to onboard onto Steam because crypto was mooning, right? Bitcoin was going up on its run to 20,000, and that I think is going to be the way in, at least for now, until some other plans develop to bring in other people. Because when crypto makes another bull run, if it breaks, if Bitcoin breaks its all-time high, then it's going to go back into the consciousness of the mainstream, and some portion of those people will go into whether it be Steam or Hive or whatever, and they'll say, hey, they're games, and what's the number one game on crypto? It's Splinterlands. You can look at State of the Dapps any day of the week and see that. And so, some fraction of those people will join the game, and that'll be great. And it'll be a matter of how many are they really playing, or are they just the fly by night? Once crypto fades again, which it probably will. We'll go through these boom bust cycles. Then will they stick around? And it remains to be seen. It's an open question, I think. Basically all of Splinterlands has been in the bear market of crypto, so it's done phenomenally well considering that. And I think once we see that mainstream adoption come in, at least that wave come in, then have I looked at other crypto game list sites? Well, the recording is my theme song. So, and Crusaders of the Lost Idols is an idler that just runs in the background. So yes, I do lots of stuff. Yeah, I mean, in terms of activity, it's number one DApp or app or whatever. Um, you know, I mean, there are other metrics like money spent is probably Gods Unchained. I haven't looked at that recently, but in terms of actual users, yeah, Splinterland is still number one. Um, EOS people can't even interact without staking, whatever 100 EOS. So Prospectors has been struggling, and we'll see. In fact, let's go ahead and pull it up. And I know State of the Depths is not the best, or is not the end all be all to listings, but it's a good one in that it ranks activity. So if you look at games, I mean it's like a distant second for Crypto Heroes there. So Splinterlands is showing 41.99 users. Crypto Heroes is about half that, 2,400, and volume 100,000 Steam versus 5F, and yeah. So I think whether it's number one or maybe number two according to some other metric, or number five according to some third metric, whatever, it's one of the most popular ones in the crypto universe. So with the coming pump, which I do think was going to happen, the halvening and all that kind of stuff, money printing gone wild, as we've seen in the last month or so. Yeah, Gods Unchained was mostly off chain, so it's kind of weird. They do have a bunch, and there is a lot of money inside the Gods Unchained world. Totally agree with all that, and that's great. The more the better. So, yeah, I understand all those technical criticisms of this particular list, but again, it doesn't matter. It's an order of magnitude kind of argument. If 20 million people onboard into crypto, and some fraction of those go to Gods Unchained and some other fraction go to Splinterlands, okay, fine, doesn't matter, as long as there's more coming in. So, weekend event 650 players, yeah, okay, that's all right too. But yeah, so Crypto Pump means more Splinterlands players one way or another, and that'll be good for us. But we need something else, some other way to reach gamers who want to have all the benefits of blockchain gaming, all the discrete ownership benefits that offers. So that's still a problem that needs to be solved. But we are about out of time, so that's about all my pontificating that we have time for. And we'll see you all next week. And next up is Cope and Clay and their Kofifi and Philosophy, or whatever it's being called now.